the game's going to be down for 5 hours and we're modernizing some of our servers. And it's like, God, what does that mean?
They went from Windows 98
yeah,
to Windows 2000.
Potato to a hamster, you know what I mean? So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life with a heavy focus on the first-person shooter, Escape from Tarkov. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam, an Escape from Tarkov content creator.
Did I ever tell you that I was a Freemason, a third-degree master
Wow.
Freemason?
No.
Oh, yeah. Right before we started, I said, so mote it be, and it just clicked that was a thing from the Freemasons.
Really?
And, yeah.
So you're the other co-host, Veritas, the third-degree black belt Freemason? Is that, wait, how does that work?
Well, I never got past the yellow belt.
Okay.
I quit because they made me do push-ups in karate on the first day, and I was like, nah, fuck that.
I think my grandfather was the Grand Poobah at an Elks Lodge at one point.
Yeah, that's not the same.
No, just other fun tidbits of knowledge.
Yeah, he's nowhere near close to the Illuminati.
Like the Freemasons are, okay?
Yeah, man.
I saw National Treasure. I know all about it.
Just saying, dude. Let's just say it's not only a yearly deep sea fishing trip and cribbage and pie. It's not only
it's
that.
Not exclusively that.
It is literally not anything other than that. Anyway.
Yes.
So I've hit rock fucking bottom, dude. I'm losing it.
What's going on?
Okay,
Tell Papa Jesse.
I've just been like speed running, dude. I'm so fucking close to like.
Because I was about to say, I thought I saw you on Zelda all day. Yeah. So this isn't entirely Tarkov frustration.
Oh no, Tarkov is just the fucking shit covered cherry on top of the.
Understood. Okay.
Dumpster fire that is my meal. Yeah, but the thing is with the speed running stuff is it's the polar opposite of Tarkov because it's consistent frustration, but I'm frustrated and disappointed in myself because I know that it's 100% me.
Which is
the game was
complete
finished in
opposite
98.
Yeah, of Tarkov.
The game was finished in 98. Like it wasn't the recent patch that fucking made it so that I'm pressing the wrong buttons, you know?
Yeah.
So it's I have a new appreciation, and I'm going to get into this in the video when I do it, for what it takes to be able to speed run. Because at any given moment in time, any of the things that you do are somewhere in the realm of trivial to extremely difficult.
Understood.
But you might have 100 of those things in a run, but the run is only good if 95% of those little splits are done well.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so much harder to do if you've got 10 segments to do good, bad, very good, good. That is like literally fucking impossible. It's usually amazing, run has ended. Good, run ends. Shit. Mediocre. You're past your, the time limit.
Because there's got to be
so
a really
fucking hard.
That's got to be a really interesting decision to make. You've done each split so many times where you're like, I'm at the point where I have to do my absolute god tier best to even salvage this run. Is it worth attempting that, or I've made it halfway through? Should I just stop here and start over? But what if I would have clutched it? And then I can understand how that would be like a weird mental, because it ends up being on you when you reset it.
Exactly. And then when you fuck up, so you do the first half, right? 1,000,000 times. You only do the last few, 6 fucking times. It's like a giant pyramid where the final split, if it's the hardest, it's also the one you have the least practice with.
Yes.
So you're the least consistent. It's almost like I actually feel better when I am like a few seconds behind or like 30 seconds behind halfway through. When I'm like 45 seconds ahead, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck it up, and I'm gonna fall from 45 seconds ahead to 2.5 minutes. Dude, I was on pace to be like 3 minutes faster than my goal. I was gonna get like a 22 or 23 minute And there's literally one trick where you have to walk through a door, but you have to hold the Z targeting, which makes it so you can't turn. The camera's locked.
Yeah, okay.
But you're literally standing parallel with the door. So you have to like look up and to the right, like perfectly, so that your character kind of looks and then activates the door. And I sat there for 2.5 minutes at the door. And the fucking run died right there because I couldn't, you're just like so nervous and you fuck up 2 or 3 times. And so it was like that.
That's that mental hurdle between playing on the emulated Japanese version when you know that you're just like, whatever. And then putting in that legit card where you're like, these runs count. Like, I can't mess this up.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like when I beat the 25, I'm going to crush it. I just literally can't make it to the end without killing it. Yeah. So that's where I was at all fucking day. Oh. And then all day, and it was all day yesterday, the same thing. So then I didn't want to play Tarkov because I'm like, I kind of wanted to say no Tarkov until I beat this like 25-minute thing. I'm like, it'll force me not to play, get my mind right about it, take a little bit of a break. Maybe some changes will happen. Yeah. So I ended up playing Mordhau yesterday. And of course, it was like, it just ended up being, it's the easiest game to stream snipe. Because if I'm in like a community server, you just find me and double click, and there was like 7 people streaming Mordhau. The number one streamer had like 7 viewers, so I popped in there with a couple hundred. Yeah, and there was literally like 6 dudes that were just following me around, just like literally just following me from server to server to server. So I was like, okay, this isn't even fun. Like, that sucks. Yeah, and then I played Tarkov tonight. I did 4 raids. The first 3 insta-killed by cheaters. And then I don't know what happened with the last one. I don't even remember.
I popped in and there was a scav folded in half.
Yeah, that was in a scav run, wasn't it? Yeah.
Were you playing labs?
Yeah, I was playing labs. I just don't want to do anything like.
I get it. It's like if you like playing labs, I get it. I was just making sure that you weren't like, I did 3 cheaters in a row on Shoreline. I would have been concerned. But
no.
Yeah, it sucks.
I should just go back to doing factory like all day again, because I remember when I was doing that, when I was trying to grind out max search.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the patience right now to like go across a huge map.
Yeah, no, I get it. When the one tappage is right there. I mean, that's probably a good idea. It's like factory is still super hit or miss because sometimes you just get all the like Bambis, but it's better to run through a few factories where you don't really get any action and then get a few where you get some than to go into labs 3 times and die to cheaters. So you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like that's better.
And I mean, like with the price of everything being so expensive, like even if you wipe out a bunch of Bambis, if you like 99% of the time in factory, if I make it out of the spawn, I will loot the safe, the jackets, and the filing cabinets. That can be some really good money.
100%.
And I find like factory keys all the time, and like RBAM keys all the time. I just find tons of keys.
Are there any computers on factory? I don't think so, right? I couldn't remember if there was one in the office that was lootable, but I don't think there is.
It's not lootable, no. It's just like a fucking JPEG of a tower.
Because, dude, computers are the money right now, dude. It's stupid. It's disgusting. CPU fans, 40K. CPUs, 120K. RAM sticks, 50K. Circuit boards, 50K. And then wires and power cords are always like, 10 to 15K. But it's like, God, bro, there have been a few runs where me and Steel will run in Shoreline and it was just those dead runs. And I swear I made more money on PC components than finding Tetris's LEDXs and graphics cards. You know what I mean? It's like, it's wild.
It's because it's guaranteed, right? Like,
yeah. There's so many computers in Resort. It's like, even if you get no high tier loot, we can both walk out of there with a few 100,000 rubles of profit if it's a dead raid. If we die, of course, but if it's a dead raid. So I just couldn't remember if there was any on factory. But the filing cabinets is kind of the same way. Even matches and lighters are worth something because you can barter them for the fuel. So yeah, even just a few filing cabinets in a safe and a few jackets, like even if you get a dead factory, you can make some cash.
Yep. Yeah. So how's the servers been feeling? For me, jack shit, no difference.
Yeah, it's so hard. it's very understandable, like the most common question I've been getting, because it was like 3 days ago, they were like, the game's going to be down for 5 hours and we're modernizing some of our servers. And it's like, God, what does that mean?
They went from Windows 98 to fucking Windows 2000.
Potato to a hamster. You know what I mean? So, and then everybody was asking, and it was so hard because it was like, the answer I was giving was, I don't know anything about servers or networking. I don't even know if what they did was even intended to make the game run smoother. Like, for all I know, it was completely irrelevant stuff to us, and they're preparing for
they went and put
the Unity.
They put stickers on the cases, on the server cases. They modernized it. They just put shiny holographic stickers all over it.
For all I know, they're preparing for the Unity 2019 migration, and it had nothing to do with gaming. You know what I mean? So I was like, people asking, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it was supposed to make the game feel better. I don't know. But then the very next day, they were like, we implemented new server technology on customs, labs, and factory. You know, please report any bugs or lag or desync or hit registration issues. I was like, oh, shoot. Okay. Like, so it is supposed to be about that. So we played a few hours of customs, and I had like a spot on primo, no desync, no running on the spot with the duo. Great time. But I was like, that doesn't mean that it's perfect, because it just means like 2 hours on one map, you know, because then we went and played Shoreline and others. It's like, I don't know, like I had a good few hours. Yeah. Does that, it's confirmation bias. Does it mean? So then the next day we had some raids that were decent, and then they did the same thing. I didn't stream yesterday, but did the same thing. They put the game down for 5 more hours, or at least that's what they said. I don't know how long it was down for. So they're working on something. I'm having a bunch of people in chat saying, you know, super lag, super desyncy, nothing's changed, can't tell.
Some people say, yeah, it feels a
little
bit better.
Some people say it feels better. Some people say, like, somebody asked Landmark, and he was like, you don't notice good servers, you just notice bad servers. You know what I mean? Like, if you're intently in the raid trying to stay alive and get through fights, a few hours will go by and you wouldn't have noticed that it was fine. You just notice when you yell at the thing because there's desync. So
it's like
it's
every
so hard
servers are your organs. It's the internal organs of the game. I don't ever think about my spleen until the day I've ruptured it.
Exactly. And so it's really hard to tell. But they put a big foot forward saying, like, you know, it should feel better, you know, report any desync, lag, or hit reg issues. So I was like, okay, well, then I guess it's supposed to be better. I mean, I just don't know anything. It was so interesting. They only did 3 maps. It was interesting that they did those 3 maps. Like, we don't know how it all works on the back end. So
it's factory, customs, and labs. I should just literally get a 5-man in factory again.
Oh,
like I did for the netcode video, and just go through and be like,
shoot, legit, because that was one of the maps they said, and that's the easiest one to do. Just repeat those tests and see if it's any better. That's actually a great idea, because like I said, customs felt fine, but I don't feel comfortable saying that a few hours on customs and I'm like, yeah, guys, it feels great. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to. Maybe I'll fucking do that tomorrow or something, and then I should toss a fucking Raid Shadow Legends ad right in the beginning of the video where I'm just doing netcode testing, no commentary, nothing. Dude, I legitimately, I've been getting emails like crazy.
Yeah.
And I've always been getting emails, and I've always ignored them because it's such a meme. And then it occurred to me that, first of all, it's my wife's 30th birthday in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
And I'm like, been looking into, what they would end up paying if just throwing a fucking 60-second spot. Now, I would only do it if under a few circumstances. Either if I don't have to read the dumbass script, or if when I read it, I can be like, Raid Shadow Legends is the greatest game ever, and you never have to. You're gonna get epic coins, and the king and the queen are gonna be. You're gonna get the graphics are the greatest, and sign up using code Veritas.
Like, if they let you meme on it, you'll do it.
Yeah, like if I want to say, it's my wife's birthday, I want to buy her a brand new laptop because she's been stressing out. She wants to get a laptop and hates to spend the money. Yeah. And on a completely unrelated note, this video is sponsored by Raid. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I did a Raid Shadow Legends thing. I don't judge people that do it, man. It's a meme. I leaned into the meme, when I was doing it.
Do you get shit from it? Like,
Of course.
Is anybody?
Well, I did a Twitch one where it was like I played it for 2 hours on stream, and then over the course of 7 days, if we get a certain download threshold, it's a certain amount of downloads, they pay you more. Obviously, I can't say how much, but like I did that way. I haven't done the YouTube route, so I don't really know how much it is.
So I've got two different companies, one coming in with the Twitch one and one coming in with the YouTube. I kind of just want to like.
Dude, there have been so many. There's so many third-party companies that will come in and represent you or like negotiate the deal and then take a cut or whatever. But I don't know, man. It's just like my thought process behind it is that it makes like, I know that we're in charge of it. Like I had been very careful. Like that's the only thing I ever did. It was when I was moving because I did one solid month of internet completely out, like 2 to 3 times a night. I had to call streams early. I had to move. Like I was like, you know what I mean? We freaking moved, and I was like, we had to cut our lease early. We're paying security deposits. I was like, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And in my community, like the real core of the community super respected it because I don't shove a bunch of that stuff. I haven't done a lot on YouTube. Like we get to pick it, but I'm just of the thought process that it's like, yeah, we are. It just makes sense. We're so highly accustomed to ads and commercials on TV and stuff like that. And, we get to be in control of how much or how little. It's how the freaking world works now, man. So I'm all for it. Creators who do it, especially in a way that if there's a reason and there's timing and it's not too much, like I don't know. Of course, every single day I had people coming in just to meme on the little overlay down at the bottom and stuff like that. But I laughed and took the money that they didn't get any of. So, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, true. All right, well, I'll have to figure out. They like every fucking deal that you ever get as a content creator, or not every, but most of them are, hey, we have an opportunity for you. What's your price? And you're like,
that I hate. Yep.
I
don't know.
$10,000. Like I just want to throw out a fucking number so that they'll counter, but like we'll counter with 400. Or they'll be like deal, and you're like, oh shit, maybe I should have asked for more. But I'm just gonna ask for like 3 times what I fucking expect.
That's dude. I hate. I'm 10 times less likely to respond to that because, and that's probably a deeper conversation about like there's no super simple way to understand your value. Like, you know what I mean? Like how many eyeballs and what they're willing to pay per, it's so hard. But they know that. They know. So they want you to come in. They're going to lowball anything you say. And they want you to be like, they want you to come in and be like, I don't know how much. I don't want to ask for too much and scare them away. So I'll ask for this. That's the price they want. So they can be like, well, we can do this. And then they lock it in for hella cheap. And so I don't want to play that game. You know what I mean? So I just don't. Yeah, it's like I'll just respond with a quick, $8,000 for every 30 seconds, or I'm not going to respond because I just don't know what to say. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could start with. I mean, this isn't so much for the fucking Raid Shadow Legends, but more just like a general content creator stuff. I feel like the logical place to start would be either talking to other content creator friends that and because like we've talked about stuff and we've been open with each other because like it's different than like asking about fucking salary. You know what I mean? It's like you want to make sure you're in the same ballpark. That you're not getting completely fucked over. That you're getting what your value is. So it's I think that's like really one place to do it is. If you can ask somebody. If you can't, part of me wants to go and say, okay, well, I mean, I guess like how much would I make in AdSense revenue? Because Google has already established some sort of CPM, so clearly that's some reasonable thing. So if I have a video that gets, 100,000 views, I mean, I don't even know these days. So like this video is 144,000 views. That translates into like $800. So, but that's, over the course of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So the question is like this ad is going to be up here on a fucking video, you know, for all time.
Yep.
So I guess the question is like, I would need that would be like the low end, I think, for something like that, because you can't discount the value, I guess, that you have as a content creator saying, you shouldn't be buying this thing that I am extremely excited to be telling you about, and you definitely want to buy, and you want to use my code. Look, I have a level 17 druid. You're going to want to be just like me. Anyway.
No, and that's what I was going to say is that, like, on average, AdSense pays way, 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 way less because they can, somebody doing that, it's just shotgunning an ad out to as many people as possible. That's most likely a skippable ad, and they run that through, so they're going to pay way less per view. But having a, you know, it's like the difference between Nike paying for a commercial at a NBA game and LeBron James coming out and saying, buy this Nike sweater. Like, of course, that's the huge macro analogy because LeBron James is one of the most famous people on the planet, but that's the difference. They're willing to pay a lot more for that. So, but it's interesting. I mean, my experience with them was pretty chill. They were like, you don't have to say anything. They were like, the only thing, they even said that I could say I didn't like it. They were just like, they basically were like, just go easy because we are paying you for this. That was basically the only direction. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I had heard people be like, you have to say this exact thing. And if you don't say this and say that,
you have to read the paragraph.
100%. And to me, they were like, here's this stuff. This is the stuff you need to make sure to hit. Like, it's a free game, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Yeah. But they're like, just play it and give your honest thoughts and just go easy on us if you don't like it. And I was like, interesting.
We're going to just now in hindsight, we're going to have to bleep out any and all references because like now we're fucking talking about it. Nobody download Raid Shadow Legends unless me or Jesse do a fucking campaign. All right.
Wait. Yeah. So it's interesting stuff. It's a whole weird world though. You just start getting emails and you don't know how to answer them. You know what I mean? And they just come from all over the place, and yeah, it's crazy.
Oh well. What else is there in our fucking?
So Tarkov server changes have been, I don't know, hopefully good. They seem to be doing a lot. I don't know. I've gotten a weird amount of when's wipe already, which is mind blowing. I'm like, every day I'm like, who's saying that it's soon? Like, I'm not supposed to have to go through this for 6 more months of my chat being spammed with when's wife.
It has to be basically a combination of Pestily and maybe Landmarks streams, just like,
yeah, maybe,
because all it takes, if people are spamming it in chat and then people in chat are answering with the meme,
yes,
most people don't understand it, and then the people that never thought about it get reeled into the conversation, don't understand the sarcasm or the meme, they start to believe it, and then other people start going all over the place. And the thing is that, like, at least Pestily embraces the meme.
Yeah.
So he leans into it, right? At least I'm all for memes.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate misleading people.
Yeah.
When it leads to other misleading, because like they'll be like, oh shit, oh, okay, cool. Then they'll fucking log off Twitch and call their boss and take fucking Thursday off from work. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's exactly it. I'm all for a good meme or a good, like, gotcha, it was supposed to be today. But like, when the paragraph messages start flowing in my chat about like, I can't believe they would wipe this early, and that's not what this game needs, and I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? It's so much beyond the just like, oh, gotcha, you thought it was Thursday. Like, I'm like, I don't need this in my life for 6 more months, because it's probably going to be 6 more months at least. So yeah, that was just like a random, people have been all over the place. But something interesting that I wanted to just get your thoughts on. because like I've been seeing this a lot recently. I actually put out a video today. I moved my schedule because I was like, what's going on here? But like, I have just been, it feels like every time I pop into a stream or every time I use a vector, everybody just starts coming out of the woodwork. Like I played Tuesday, I played Tarkov for 5.5 hours. The last raid of the day that I did was the first raid that I used a vector. And I like the countdown ended and I'm like in my first stride and somebody put in chat like, man, dude, I love your content, but I feel like every time I click on your stream these days, you're using a vector. And I was like, where did you come from? Like, it's just the vector has become the new Mosin, where it's like, if you use it, you're a garbage human. And if you don't use it, you call people that use it garbage humans. Like, it's the Kector, it's the you've got no balls if you use it. I've been seeing this on Twitter and in other people's streams. And it just like, it happened like consecutive days in a row that I sat down at my desk, I wrote out a bunch of thoughts, and then I did like a rant video where I just put up a bunch of gameplay footage and talked about it. I mean,
dude,
this is legit. To hear your thoughts.
No, this is, back in the day how people used to like hunt down and burn at the stake poor women for being witches.
Yes. I mean, I've heard that. I don't remember.
The same fundamental underlying stupidity and ignorance. It's the same like strain in our reptilian brains that makes this happen.
Yeah.
There's always something to fucking cry about.
Yeah.
It was the vector, and for a long time it was the Val, and then the MP7. It's just people, they hate dying.
Yeah.
So it's either I'm going to blame the cheater or I'm going to blame the gun that they're using.
Yeah.
And it's just such a, I don't know, man, like an intellectually lazy, completely pointless. I don't know, dude. It like literally flabbergasts me. It's one of the things that it's at the heart of what makes me so fucking depressed as a human being, like, and a content creator.
Yeah.
Because all we see, people get to see when they watch our YouTube, they see like our highlights and sometimes our lowlights of, what happens, and they think that that's reality. Well, all we see every day is people at their most generous and awesome, and at their most basic, moronic, ape-like.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting because, like, I think there's a legitimate conversation in the vector stuff. It's just not at all what anybody is saying. Like, you know what I mean? It's just nerf the vector, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're a freaking, no balls, whatever. It's all this stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It was super interesting. So I just did a video where, like, the first half I was talking about basically what you said. I was like, what are we, like, stop complaining, because first of all, I've never understood. And once again, I don't hold anybody that says anything one time like accountable for that for forever. I don't think that that's what they think, because I've yelled, I hate this game while playing this game. I don't really hate this game, so I get it. But I've just like, I've never understood the like people who fundamentally and consistently shame meta boys, like people that just run the best of the best every raid, because I just thought, like, isn't that the point of video games? Like, you know what I mean? Like, to start with nothing and get to the best and use the best. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody was ever running around Skyrim going, like, you unlock the best sword of the game and then you, like, chuck it because I'm not a meta Chad and I kill dragons with my...
you're allocating those skill points into destruction magic some more? Why don't you put some of that in conjuration, huh?
With nunchucks. Like, I never get it. I understand the frustration in dying to the same thing over and over again. And the video is just constantly like, what you're mad about, you need to like think about the real thing. It's like, if there's something that's OP, actually, it is frustrating to die to that thing a lot, but it is not the player's fault for using that to their advantage. We're not talking about like glitching to spots or cheating. We're talking about like, if the Vector is overpowered, you know what I mean, because the ammo is available and it's a really good gun and it's cheap, it's like they're not like a cuck or a freaking loser for using the best gear available to them. You know what I mean? Like I talked about labs. I was like, if you could get rid of labs, like if you could get rid of the cheaters on labs, it's probably the most like, you can make an argument it's the most skill-based map, because if everybody walks in with an HK, a slick, and an exfil with 995, then effectively nobody has anything. And the guy who clicks on the heads most wins, right? It's like, yes, they're overpowered, but if they're all using it, then the guy who's better is going to win. But it was just, I don't get it. I don't get shaming people. I don't get like coming up with names to call people. Oh, you're a Val gamer, you know, you're a Mosin man, you're using the Kector. Like, I don't get that, because that's just fundamentally so far away from making sense to me and what we should be doing, how we should be treating other human beings.
You just said the fucking 2021 digital equivalent of these kids in their crypto money, they made everything weird with the internet and I don't understand it. It's literally just all fucking memes and TikTok and bullshit. And dude, it's just a bunch of fucking 16-year-olds in Twitch chat that just love spamming the same shit. Like, I guarantee 85% of the time, whatever they say comes with a Keck W attached to it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they don't like, I can see, like, I can understand, you know, Val Gamer, like, typing that out if when you show up to a stream and the person that you're watching is like in the queue and they have a Val, like, all you're saying is like, oh, he's using the Val, like, get ready. But they also, like, the viewers don't realize how fucking, it's just like everything, man. They don't realize how fucking annoying so many of the things that they say are. But you can't, like, blame them. But I just, here's the way I look at it. There are, I'm like super self-conscious and self-aware, and I fucking hate, I'm not going to get into too many details, but it's like one of those things, like, the last thing I would ever want to do is make one of those faux pas and make somebody like fucking either uncomfortable or annoyed or whatever. Yeah. So if I was a viewer, I would really want to know all of these things that annoy people. That's like when I got into speedrunning. One of the things in my interview questions for everybody I'm going to be speedrunning is, as a speedrunner, what annoys you from Twitch chat? Because I have no idea. When people are like, this is the run, or when people are like, reset again, or when people are, you know what I mean? Like, what things really annoy you? What things actually are helpful? Because it's hard to know, right? Like, you think you're being encouraging, but what you're really doing is just being like, bro, you're about to get the record. Breathing on the back of their neck, like, oh, well, now you just fucking, you just distracted me, you know? Like, so there's just so many things that people say without knowing how.
And a lot of times the intention is good. It's just people don't understand. People don't get how much of a difference, like, phrasing something a certain way can make. Like, you know what I mean? It's just,
they type it with a look on their face, but we don't see the look on their face.
And they don't
just
see
a name.
All the other things. Like, they don't see, like, that guy apparently didn't see me rocking other guns for 4.5 hours. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, there's no, when I chat in a stream, especially if I just got there, like, I'm not like doing research. I'm not like scrubbing back through the VOD. I'm just filtering what I say through a, like, this person has been live for a certain amount of time. So, you know what I mean? I won't make statements. I'll ask questions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, if I die and if somebody dies and they start getting super frustrated, I'm not going to be like, Tarkov's really getting to you, isn't it? I'm going to be like,
you don't look like you're having a good day.
How have the raids been? You know what I mean? Or it's a phrasing something, like, thinking about the other person. Anyways, wrapping it all back to the Vector stuff, I actually do think there's interesting, like, gameplay conversation to have around that gun and, like, ammo availability that I'd love, and about ammo, because that was the other half of the video. Like, it was, the title of the video was like, the Vector's not the problem, the ammo is. And I was just talking about how, like, and we've talked about this before, the Vector overpoweredness baffles me, because last wipe, my most used gun was an MP5 SD, right? Like, you know what I mean? And the reason the Vector is arguably overpowered is because it has a high fire rate, it shoots good ammo, it has 0 recoil, and it has high
50 round
and
mags.
it has high capacity mags. Those are the 4 things, right? The MP5 SD has high capacity mags, 0 recoil, and shoots the same ammo. So, all right, the rounds per minute.
That it has nothing to do with that.
Rounds per minute, all right? So it has to be that. If everything else is literally identically the same, it has to be that, right? Well, the MPX and the MP5 SD, right? The MP5 SD shoots 800 rounds per minute. The MPX shoots 850. The Vector shoots 950. So I did some math. A Vector at 950 rounds per minute, you divide that by 60. That's how many bullets it'll shoot in a second. And then you do 50 divided by that. Boom. A Vector shoots a 50 round mag in 3.15 seconds. An MPX shoots a 50 round mag in 3.53 seconds. So you're telling me that I ran the MPX and the MP5 last wipe, all wipe, and people would meme on me about it. And it was great. It was like, what are you doing? Run an M4. You know what I mean? It's like, no, 9mm's fun. You're telling me that less than 0.4 of a second difference to dump a 50 round mag is the single straw that breaks the camel back between a meme gun and a God mode Nikita fix your game, it's broken. 0.4 of a second. And
Dude,
I was just like,
you're assuming that people are using logic and reasoning.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was like, yes, I could never say that the MP5 SD is better than the Vector. You know what I mean? But it's just not that much of a difference. And now everybody's freaking out about 7 and 31 and that the Vector's overpowered. And even the other day, like I was into some other streamers and they're like, what if we made the Vector barter only? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And I literally typed in chat and I said, then I'd go back to using my MP5 SD. Because that's what I used all wipe last night. And I was just waxing people, dude, left and right, but nobody cared. People would come on my stream and watch me do it, and nobody called it overpowered, man. I made a video about it back in the day.
The proof is in the pudding. When everybody started using the Val, nothing changed.
Yeah.
It was a video on ammo that made everybody start using the Val and the VSS, and everybody at the time was using SP5 because it was cheap and like super cheap.
Yeah.
And then the metagamers started to use them a lot more and using the top tier ammo. And then the problem was the guns and the ammo are too good and overpowered.
Exactly.
When they were unchanged for like 2 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
And then it just so happened that they got popular.
Yeah.
And then now it's a problem.
Exactly. Popularity, and that's it. Popularity is the problem, which has nothing to do most of the time with the gun. It's just you don't like dying to the same gun that many times in a row. But even so, I would posit that I do think that like SMGs and especially 9mm SMGs are probably too strong right now in Tarkov. It's just nerfing the gun. A gun doesn't do anything because the MP5 SD, the MPX, and even arguably the MP9 are so close to the Vector. The MP9 shoots 1,100 rounds per minute. So if that's the only thing that matters, that's why the Vector's OP, right? Well, then the MP9's OP because it shoots faster. Like there's so many guns. And in the video, I was like, I don't have all the answers, but like, what if 7 and 31, like I talk about this all the time on my stream. Like I'd be down if 7 and 31 was gone and AP 6.3 was like the 995 of 9mm and like PST GZH was the 55A1 and it maybe got buffed a little bit. I personally...
Dude, there's nothing wrong with it. Keep it the way it is. I fucking almost never come across them, and when I use them, I almost always get shit on by someone using a rifle. It's irrelevant, dude. It's not a problem. People just don't like when they hear and then they die.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that every fucking gun in the game pretty much will kill you in 1 or 2 bullets.
Yeah.
So I don't personally think that it's even that good. I won't use any 9mm because if you come across a 3-man and they have Altons, no matter what you have, you might be able to kill them in 2 or 3 shots, but that's 2 or 3 shots on one guy while 3 of them are shooting 1 bullet to kill you. It's just, it's not a fucking problem. People need to stop crying and shut the fuck up about it because it's a non-issue.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I
The
agree with
grenade launcher is more of a fucking problem, and I don't even think that that's a problem.
Yeah, it's yeah. I get what you're saying, and I agree. I think my idea comes back to more of like, I'd like to balance the whole thing out like a little bit more. Like I would love to play if I was in charge of ETS. If somebody was like, just make a server you like, I would do that. I would make the SMGs, because it goes back to the whole, if 3 things make something perfect, pick 2. You know what I mean? And that's how you like, you don't get all 3. And with right now, like you kind of get all 3 with 9mm SMGs, unless you come across a 5-man wearing Altons, but I haven't come across even a 3-man wearing Altons in a long time. You kind of don't have to pick. You don't have to pick in the HK M4 category, right? Like it's the same thing. You get everything. You don't have to pick, and it might cost a little bit more. So I would like to see.
Well, no, not a little bit more. I mean, like the meta HK, in my opinion, is the meta HK and the fully decked out FAL are just the best guns in the game.
Yeah.
But they're the FALs. I actually don't know. I don't think the FAL's super expensive, but the HK is mad fucking expensive, and you're gonna need to have at least 3 60-round mags with and the mags cost 100K or whatever now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's, I don't know. Like
I don't know. I think
I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, no. Like I said, I agree that it's not as big of a deal as people say, because yeah, it's like if you nerf the Vector, I'll use a different 9mm gun. If you take away 9mm, I'll just use an M4. And at the end of the day in Tarkov, if I'm better than you, I'll win. And if you're better than me, you'll win. You know what I mean? Like I get that. But I'm just saying in a world, I would love to see a world where PST GZH was the most common SMG round, and a world where at the same time the max, like the absolute min-max recoil you can get an M4 to be is like 65, and it just goes back to like the pick 2. You know what I mean? The M4, you can shoot 5.5A1 or N995, bigger bullets, they hit harder. But if you've got a 12-foot barrel on your HK and a suppressor at the end, the ergo is 7 and the recoil is 63. So you actually have to like know how to use it. And then the Vector, the recoil is 27, but it's going to take me 7 shots to get through your face shield. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that world feels more like I don't know. No, I don't want to say balanced, because I don't know if it would be balanced, but it's just, I would just like to play a game. I would like to play Tarkov that felt like that for a day and just see.
The only way that they could do that is by basically making ammo super, like have one base round for every gun that like everybody uses that you can get unlimited from traders, like PST
Which
855 or whatever it is, like BT. I don't know what the different rounds would be, but make those fucking all over the place and make all the other ones come in small quantities and not sellable on the flea market.
On the flea,
that's the only way. I mean, I'm open to hearing other ideas, but at this point, I'm now tentatively saying there is literally no other way that they will ever control the ammo. Even if they make it rare, the fact that there's a million fucking people playing and they can all put up 7 rounds means that everybody that you fight is always going to have 2 magazines full of it.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I threw out, you just get rid of 7N31. AP 6.3 is the best, and if you make it that expensive, you know what I mean? Like it's the 7N31 right now is pretty prohibitive. You have to, like, you're paying 6,000-7,000 rubles around for it, or crafting it, and you know what I mean. So I would just like to mess with it. I just like, it's probably just the classic video game in me where it's the pick 2, right? Like the heavy armor is good, great damage reduction, but you're slow. And the Ranger armor is boosts to sneak and your ranged attacks, but it's got low damage, or low armor value. Like I just like the HK shooting a really big bullet at a high fire rate with a 60-round mag, have 71 recoil and 7 ergo. I think that makes sense. I think if the Vector's going to have 22 vertical recoil, it takes 6 shots to do anything to a guy. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that just feels like it feels like a video game. You know what I mean? It feels like you get to pick and choose, and that way you can have fun doing both. And it was funny because I said this in the video, and still the comments were hilarious. But I was like, I get that if you did my idea for the 9mm where you got rid of 7 and 31 and this that, and the other. I was like, I get that in the current meta nobody would use it anymore because everyone would just go back to the M4. But it just goes back to the whole, like, if something's broken, like, what's the right thing to do? Do we break everything else around it so that thing seems less broken, or do we fix the thing? You know what I mean? It's like,
if whatever they do to balance will just make it so that nobody uses it anymore.
Yeah.
And then they're back to, it's all about Val gamers and meta HKs all over the place. The fact of the matter is that we've been begging for fucking years now to make, at least I have been, to make SMGs viable. And I think now is like the first time that I feel like most of the SMGs are actually viable, but situationally. Because there are so many times where I'll take one out and I'll be like, now is the one time that I come across a 3-man with Altons.
Yeah.
It's not when I had the HK. I get killed by the fucking dude with AP slugs running a P.A.K.A. when I had the Fort Armor and the HK.
Yeah.
But and I'm running, 995 the one time. But when the one time I'm like, all right, let's have some fun, and I'm just gonna run some, SMG and good ammo, but maybe not like every mag is not full of 7 and 1. Maybe there's just AP mixed in and stuff like that. Then I bounced 2 or 3 bullets off of a couple of Altons, and it's like, oh, tell me it's OP now, because I would have rather had any other fucking gun.
I don't know though, man. We've talked about this before. I think more guns in Tarkov should feel the way SMGs feel. I think more guns in Tarkov should feel like, oh crap, this isn't the situation for this gun. Let me either slow it down and pick these guys off one by one, or let me run away. I know that a lot of people want to run just PvP. That's all they want. They want it to be, they want the arena, they want COD, they want deathmatch, they want high kill equals good player. But I personally, this is completely subjective, but I'd rather watch smoke. I'd rather watch a guy go, let me follow these guys for a little bit and find the shot. You know what I mean? Oh, these guys, I brought in a Vepr with no buttstock, and that's an Alton guy. The only way I'm winning this fight is if this happens, so I'm going to set myself up for this. Like, I think SMGs, I think it's good. That's why I'm saying, like, if the HK had 7 ergo and 72 vertical recoil, and you had 60 round mags, but you saw a 3-man running at you, you would still feel uncomfortable taking that fight, because you'd be like, how do I do this? You know what I mean? If I mag dump, I'm going to be all over the place, and I'm going to use my 60 before I kill all 3 of them. Like, what do I do? Walk it back. Do this. You know what I mean? And I get it.
And then what would happen if they nerf that? Then everybody would move over to using the M1 or the RSAS or whatever, and they'd go with M62, go headshot,
for sure,
headshot. And then everyone would say, you need to buff helmets, or they need to nerf M61 or M80 or whatever. You're never going to be able to win. Yeah. There's never going to be a point, and here's what everybody needs to realize, is that there's never going to be a point where even 30% of the community says, yeah, things feel really good now and balanced. It's never going to fucking happen. Sure. It's always just going to be someone complaining about whatever everyone else is using and missing the forest for the trees, which is the fact that it's a client authoritative netcode server with garbage ass cheaters in every other fucking raid. So every fight feels shitty and unfair, and there's no way to tell the difference between cheaters and netcode, and your ammo is all irrelevant.
Yeah. I don't know. And it really comes down to, like, I feel it happen to me a lot. Like, what I want Tarkov to be, is what facilitates everything I think about how it should be balanced. And the community doesn't really understand that we all do that, right? You know what I mean? This is what we want Tarkov to be, so this is how you would balance it, and that would make somebody else frustrated. Like you said, like, you're never going to get 30% of the community to agree on anything. And that's because there's a lot of people playing. It's because Battle State's kind of weird about what they want it to be, and it's just, it's just all over the place. And yeah, I don't know. So it's just, I understand that. I understand it's a really subjective thing, but it's just frustrating when, yeah, I guess that's it. It's just frustrating when people complain about something and the problem is the opposite of what they're complaining about or completely unrelated. And it just like, and then I just get so many questions, or I don't know. I don't know. It's just Tarkov.
Dude, and I God, dude, it hurts my soul so much, because think about all these insurmountable problems with balancing and with quest design and with the economy and the flea market and blah blah and cheaters and all this stuff. Let's say they fix everything and they keep the servers the way. Not even the servers. Ignore the servers. People complain about shit servers. The servers, for all I care, could be fucking perfectly fine right now.
Yeah.
The same netcode infrastructure, the same architecture. The game still has people stuttering around everywhere and you dying behind walls.
Yeah.
That to me it's just the most important thing. Like, before you fucking worry about balancing anything, because the only way that you can balance something is when you understand all of the costs and benefits, which you cannot do if everybody that's running, you know, this particular type of gun is much more likely to be jumping around corners and, you know, benefiting from shit netcode or whatever.
And I definitely don't disagree with that kind of like large scale assessment of the game, which is that, like, let's say you balance it all. As long as there's a client authoritative netcode, there are problems that just aren't fixable, and that will always make the game feel like crap. And I guess, like, my goal is never to like distract from that or make videos that say if all you do is fix this, then that will, you know, make the game feel better. I actually said in the video that anybody says all you have to do is fix this and the game will feel better is just an incredibly arrogant thing to say.
It's worth discussing for sure. Yeah, either way.
It's just one of those things where it's like, it's the only thing I can talk about and consider because I can understand it. Because as a guy who's played for 3,000 hours, and you know what I mean, when last wipe everybody was telling me 9mm was garbage, and now this wipe everybody's complaining to me, and I was using it both times, I feel in some sort of position of authority to be like, listen, this doesn't make sense. You can't say it was garbage last wipe and OP this wipe, and I've used an MP7 or an MP5 the whole time, right? It's like that doesn't add up. So I feel like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I make videos talking about that stuff, but at the end of the day, I completely agree. At the end of the day, right now, if you said, Jesse, like, we'll let you just personally, whatever you want, we'll let you balance Tarkov, or we can shift over to a server authority, I would be like, oh, freaking screwed. Like, yeah, let's do that. Let's make fights feel okay first, because there's so much else that's broken. You know what I mean? With the economy right now, it's just, it just doesn't matter. Like, if you want to make something, you can't make something too expensive to buy, because your options there are either make it irrelevantly expensive. When was the last time you saw T7 thermal goggles in a raid? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, just make it 47 million rubles. And it's like, yeah, whatever. You call that balanced if you want, but it's like, nobody's going to buy that. Or
I've never seen them ever.
Yeah. I killed a guy with them once.
I've used them twice, and one of them was a drop from Twitch drops, and the other one I bought.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've literally never seen them.
I killed a guy with them once, and it was the wife. They were the cheapest. You know what I mean? So it's.
And how much are thermals now?
You can get Reap IRs on the fleet for like 650 to 750K. I just sold one yesterday.
So why aren't people complaining about thermals anymore?
I don't know. Thermals were.
Is it because people are genuinely using less thermals, or
is it because there's something else to complain about?
It's because there's something else like people. They're either dying from where they don't. They're getting shot or killed from somewhere that they never knew, which is either because of a sound bug or desync or netcode, or because the person was cheating, or because the person was using a gun from across the map, or because they were using a thermal, or it's just like,
bro, it's crazy. It was like all the wipes, nobody read about thermals. Then there was that one wipe where it was like everybody, every time you died, it was the thermals, it was the thermals, it was the thermals.
And it's because that's what the big streamers were complaining about.
Yeah, and prior to that, thermals were always several 100,000 rubles on the flea market. And then they nerfed them into the ground, and they were like $1 million to $2 million, and everyone stopped using them. And I had one found in raid. I was like, oh, I'm about to make some money. And I was like, 600K? I was like, what? I'm printing 3 million rubles a day in my Bitcoin farm. How is nobody complaining about REAP-IRs being 600K? It's a great point. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't make something prohibitively expensive because it either goes T7s, where it's just like, yeah, make 7 and 31, 3 million rubles a round. It's like, dude, shut up. No. Or, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't matter because everybody's printing money. And I was like, my new, like, whenever people start talking about the economy, my new thing is like, listen, just enjoy it. Like, you don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Like, enjoy the fact that you can print 3 million rubles a day. Like, try it.
Even if you knew how to fix it, you wouldn't even know that how to do the thing that you want to do will achieve the end goal that you want.
100%.
People think that more money is going to result in this kind of gameplay, or less money is going to result in this kind of gameplay or this kind of experience. You don't know that. You don't know how to achieve that. But think about it. Imagine if so what, REAP-IRs are 600K, right? You said?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Bitcoin farm and everything, it was easier to make Bitcoin back in the day.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin was worth 100,000 rubles. So one Bitcoin, imagine if you were printing REAP-IRs.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because back then you were printing. I'm trying to figure out if I have this metaphor backwards or not. Like right now for every Bitcoin you poop out, you're basically, it's a REAP-IR. Back then, every Bitcoin was 1/6 of a REAP-IR.
Yeah.
And yet they were a problem.
Yes.
So it's much. There should be 6 times more.
Yeah, as many REAP-IRs. There's always just something new and fresh to complain about, and it's just confusing. But yeah, now, anyways, what I was saying was like nowadays, like when people complain about the economy or something like that, it's like just flip your attitude and enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? You can run whatever you want to run. Like take your 2 million rubles a day and learn a map that you don't know. You know what I mean? Use guns that you haven't used before. Figure out what you like. Max your hideout. You know, get your solar panels. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just people act like everybody acts like everybody else wants the current system. It's just like, I can't believe it. It's like, I don't want this either, but I want to play the game. So I'm going to have fun playing the game. And it goes back to the vector thing. It's like, yeah, I just made a video about how I want it. I'm probably on the extreme of like, yeah, give me PST as my main gun. But it's like, I've got 30 million rubles and I'm not even good at the game. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm going to run a vector and I'm going to run it with 7 and 31, or I'm going to run an HK or another SMG. It's like, just either stop playing the game or just like figure out a way to enjoy it. You know what I mean? I tell that especially to new players. It's like, if Nikita makes the game I think he wants to make, this will probably be the easiest it'll ever be to make money. You know what I mean? So just like use that, like learn. It's a beta. It's going to wipe. So like if your survival rate goes down to 0, it's just like, dude, get the Bitcoin farm up and running. Last week was was a really rough week for me in Tarkov. I told you that last time on the podcast. I was like, it was almost flip the desk mode. It was just so many one taps. And like those days I netted positive. Like I die 11 raids in a row and I have more money than when I started. Like,
dude, somebody earlier that just reminds me. Somebody earlier was like, we were talking about RMT. And I'm like, the problem is all these people that are like buying carries for $5 or whatever, buying stuff. And someone was like, imagine RMT. I've got millions and millions and millions, and I don't even play the game. It's like the reason why you have millions and millions and millions is largely because you don't play the game. I logged on today.
Yeah.
And I went from 0 rubles to 2 million rubles, and then I played 4 raids, and I'm at 0 rubles again. If I had not played the game,
yeah,
I would be up 2 million rubles.
Yeah.
Of course, you make money by not fucking playing, by going in and pressing a little button on your Bitcoin farm. And, you know, so, I mean, like,
so
this is actually the first time in a long time that I've actually been able to, it's easy for me to make money, because whether I win or lose, it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. Like,
bro, and it's crazy because like that is showing up in my stash. My stash right now, I get read at every single day for people telling me to buy another thick items case. It's literally every day when I go to collect my moonshine from the scav box, it says not enough space in stash. From the bottom of my stash to the top is class 6 or 5 armors and guns. That's it. And I was talking to chat. I was like, I'm not that much better than I was last wipe. Like, look at my survival rate. It's like, I didn't become a god. I was like, this is the effect of all the money. It's just
what's your fucking survival rate?
50% on the nose. It was 55.
And what's your KD?
I don't know. I can look. I don't have Tarkov open, but I can open it up.
I want to fucking know what these numbers are, because I
don't run labs. You know what I mean? I swear to God, I think I've run 3 labs raids. 2 were a meme and 1 was for the guide. Like, you know, so I just like.
But I mean, to be like, it's a different proportion of things. Like, if I don't run into a cheater, I come out of labs with 3 armored fucking rigs filled with meds and grenades and stims and kitted up guns with 17 dots and lasers stuck to them. But then again, I run into a cheater and I instantly lose my 1 million ruble kit plus the 400,000 ruble key card I just spent in 14 seconds. That's 1.4 million 3 times in a row. Okay, well I just lost 6 million rubles, you know?
Yeah. So like I'm the class 4 armor Andy. Like the last week of the last wipe, I was running trooper armors, you know what I mean? But I've turned like, I don't even run class 4 anymore because the inflation has so permeated everything where everybody's running better armor. So when I win, I get better armor. I'm huge into the hideout game. So I have a Lucky Scav junk box full of Ripstop, Aramid, and Cordura. And I trade that for slicks and the class 5 AACPC armored rigs whenever I get low. And it's just like, I have a stash, like so many people are like, God, I would kill for your stash. And I was like, dude, I don't know how this happened. I'm not any better at the game than I was last wipe. Like, I promise. It's just the inflation of everything going nuts.
Dude, so I've got 3 junk boxes, a couple of grenades cases, a thick item case, thick weapon case, some ammo cases, a few mag boxes and stuff like. But my entire stash is basically empty, other than what's in the cases, and I have 100,000 rubles.
I mean, dude,
but when I log on tomorrow, I'm gonna have 1.2 million,
dude.
And then if I sell what's in my junk boxes, because I do have a shit ton of stuff in my junk boxes, I sell like once a week.
Come with me and Papa Sealable to on a day full of shoreline, bro. The money flows. The money flows like milk and honey. My KD is 4.49. My survival rate is 51%.
How many raids have you done?
534. I took those 2 weeks off because of baby time.
How many kills?
1,126.
I'm like trying to. There's not enough information there to suss out like the how and the why and the what. So your survival rate is 15% higher than mine. Mine's 35. It's fucking always been 35 since like 0.9 or 0.10 when everything changed.
When the factory days, since those ended.
Yeah. I mean, if I went and paid factory for a week, I'd get that up to 40%.
Yeah,
again,
easy.
Because that's what happened at the end of last wipe. But so my KD is 4 point something. I have 900 raids, 2,300 kills. But yeah, I've just got like no money. So I wonder how much of that has to do with the maps you play, the fact that you play duos.
I play duos all the time. Yep.
So you're more likely to get stuff back in insurance.
Or even just win fights, you know what I mean? If I get shot, I can make a call out to Seeable, say he's over there, I'm healing up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck, dude. So just having a teammate will reduce your chances of dying, although it will increase it because you're more likely to be seen. But I'm sure there's some like offset where it's like more likely to be seen, less likely to be shot. But there's more targets, but also less threat. But then that translates into how much money do you have? How much money?
27 million rubles.
You get 27 movement rubles. I'm like, what's your fucking stash value?
Oh, so much. I don't know. Hold on. Like literally it's top to bottom stuff, guns. But like I keep everything. Like we've talked about this before, and we've negotiated the profitability of the hideout. It's like, dude, I have an ammo case full of 7 and 31 9mm. I have an ammo case full of M855A1. I have an ammo case full of FMJ for the MP7s. I've never bought a single round off the flea market. I just periodically check when it's up from the traders, buy it. I'm crafting. I cannot tell you. I have 11 slicks in my stash right now. I killed a player for one of them. Every other one was bartered for 2 trooper armors, 2 Cordura, and 2 Aramids. I have 8 the class 5 rigs. It's like,
but you could probably wait. But if you craft like a trooper armor, you could probably sell the trooper. Like you, I feel like you could sell all of those things for more money.
You can't craft the trooper armor. I just kill people for the trooper armors and then barter for the slicks. So you can't barters. I can't do anything with it on the flea market. But that's the thing. We went through this whole hideout thing where you were like, I was like, just craft everything, craft the components you need to craft it. And you were like, no, the components that you're crafting, you could probably sell in the flea market for more. And while you're right, somebody in chat said like, what do you mean the hideout's a game? There's only one profitable craft in the hideout. Sure, whatever. If you've run the math, all I know is that at every station, I'm crafting something 24/7. My stash is full of meta stuff and I've got 30 million rubles. Like, the math might not make sense, but it's happening.
I don't know how much of that. I don't know. It would be like really interesting. And I've been meaning to like, I'm going to go and fucking like VOD snipe like a dozen streamers and do an analysis to figure out like actually run the numbers on where their money comes from and how much of it is like viewer kits versus insurance that they get back. Like, because I think there's really a lot to be learned there, because it's just like, I don't know how. Like, you're not 400 times better than me.
No.
Like, so...
I'm not.
So, like, is it that you spend more time in the hideout, or is it that you are either more passive in certain scenarios so you survive more, or is it that you play with teammates so you... Like, I want to know if I could have a pie chart of, like, where your money comes from. Is it insurance returns, teammates grabbing your shit, teammates dumping your stuff, your teammate got shot and you didn't get shot, which reduces your deaths by half, and then there's probably a slice that you're way more efficient on the hideout. But like, I just need to know.
I just legitimately think like, okay, I don't know, right? I don't want to say this. I haven't seen you go anywhere other than labs or reserve the past long time that when I lurk or when I pop in to say hey or whatever. Those are my absolutely unequivocally least gone to maps. Just 100%. I feel like
but when I go shoreline, I get fucking like, I never make it to resort to where I can get like the LEDX rooms or any of the good stuff first. Yeah. And then usually what'll happen, if I'm lucky and the raid is dead, I'll loot one half of the thing and fill up my gamma and my backpack and or my kappa, and then I'll go to the other side, and as I'm walking out, I'll just get one tap. So I just spent 45 minutes, and all I have is a non-found in raid LEDX.
But my only experience with labs and reserve is just that, but in 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes. So in 45 minutes,
so if you're losing, it's losing more.
You've died 8 times. So like that would at least make a little bit of sense, right? Why you have
I have hundreds of more raids
than
you.
You have twice the raids as I do almost, you have almost twice the kills as I do, but a similar KD and a less survival rate. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and you have infinitely more money and shit
and
than me.
gear because all the time me and Sealable are freaking like, oh, rock passage isn't open, and we're running all the way out to tunnel, which is so annoying. We're doing that, and you've gone into 2 more labs raids and died to cheaters. You know what I mean? So I'm all for playing the maps that you like to play. Like, you love labs, and I've seen you dominate labs. Like, I miss the old school pre drops event when it was Veritas with a rat rig and an ADAR on freaking labs walking out with 200 kilograms worth of loot. Like, I miss those days. So I get why you run labs, and that's part of it too. It's just that, like, God, me and Stealable or me and Desmond or me and Ape have run Shoreline so many times, bro. We're just like, we have fun, we communicate well, and we just make money, dude. We just die less. Even though when I don't get the LEDX, we just make money. But we run tons of customs or woods, or we've been doing a lot more interchange. Although interchange is whack right now, bro.
Dude, there's something.
My stash is 85 million, by the way.
Well, mine's 40 mil, so your stash value is double mine.
So yeah,
and I've done twice as many raids.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to talk to like a mathematician, somebody at me in fucking Discord or something. If you like got, you know, a decent score on your AP math test in high school, like if you're like a legitimate fucking statistician that can do this analysis, but I would be interested in knowing. So imagine that there's 12 possible, actually let's just say 10 people on a map. If you're 1v9 versus 2v8, that has to be, I mean, maybe it's just like linear or whatever, maybe you're twice as likely, but there's just something about that is, not only are you decreasing your chances of getting shot, but you have decreased the number of threats.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, it's got to compound way more than it seems, at least to me.
I feel like it does over time, personally.
Over time.
I think like
hundreds of raids.
Yeah, every time even over time, like with the people you're dueling with. When you and me have played, when you've played with like Sensei, when I was playing with Deadly, it was like, there was a lot of like, is that you? And like, I shot you, but only once, and then you go to heal or something like that. Like, I think it's a real floating efficiency curve between like, it's our first day duoing and me and Sealable, who like, I literally did not play with, and like wipe day happened, and I don't think either of us duoed with another person for like 150 hours of game time. It was just like, we are blasting through this. And now it's like when we're in dorms or when we're in Shoreline and we're making call outs, like with him, as opposed to like with Deadly, when I played with him for the first time the other day, with him, he'll just call that a dude is somewhere, and I just immediately start a flank. I don't tell him. I'm just like, boom. And then when I get close, I'm like, I'm coming up from backstairs. I'm going to be behind him. Don't come out the room. I peek, dead. But that kind of, the benefit you get from playing with a duo like that does not come easy. You know what I mean? Every day people are like, bro, like, where can I find people to play with like that? And it's like, there's no substitute for just 2,000 raids with a person. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're maining a map. You know what I mean?
How do I get a LeBron James on my team?
Yeah,
dude?
Exactly. It's just, and that's why, even though everything seems like it's breaking around me, the economy is broken, a lot of the guns aren't balanced, the net code can be worse. So, dude, I've had some of the most fun I've ever had playing Escape from Tarkov this wipe, because when it feels like it comes together, the amount of time I've put into like duoing and learning and stuff like that, it just feels like, to me, once again, coming from more of like a role-playing game, RPG type of thing, I love that stuff, dude. I love the call-outs, we're choosing to pursue these guys, let's split, let's, make decisions. But, dude, when I sit down and watch you freaking 1v11, or back in the day, 1v11 with an 8R and 20-round mags on labs, like, I could never do that, bro. Ever. Like, I killed a 4-man once, and I was shaking. Or I killed a 5-man on labs once and I was shaking, bro. And that used to be like a every other raid occurrence for you. So it's not better or worse. It's just the way that you play, the maps that you like to play, your play style have profoundly infinite impacts on the return you get from the game, like both in gear and in rubles. And
dude, I want to run a simulation because the compounding effects of having less threats, being less likely to be shot, because like if let's say there's 4 individual people,
yeah,
that's a lot more hectic than a 3-man and a solo.
Yeah.
But then there's also like a 2v2.
Yes.
Imagine if every spawn wasn't one player, but it was a team. So imagine if on customs, rather than have 10 solos, there could be 10 5-man or 4-man squads.
God, bro.
Like how likely would you be to survive if every single person that you ran into you multiplied by 3? You know, like
somehow this could be way off. Somehow I feel like it would be easier for solos than that, because everybody would just be confused all the time. And you'd be able to third party fights infinitely.
But that's the problem
fun.
Is that like, but that's what happens even now. It's because I see like a 2-man and a 3-man and I'm like, kill one. And then I get shot from some other third party. You know, it's because there's always even another solo person.
Yeah.
There's just like the number of distinct enemies out there is so much higher when you're solo than when you're with a squad.
It's true.
You really, oh god, this is super interesting because you have to figure out what are your chances of if you take a map and you take the spawns and where the loot areas are, what are the chances that you will cross paths with X people?
Yeah.
And then you cross paths and you have to win and then continue on and then the other people are continuing on and then you cross paths. So it's like the chances of a 2-man over here making it through a map and surviving, and then even if one dies, there's a coin flip whether or not they're going to be able to hide their gear.
Yeah.
Then there's a coin flip of whether or not they're going to bring their gear into the next raid. Like I want to factor all this into a simulation and be like, oh, if you're in a duo, you have a 737,000 time more likely to, you know, like get your 80% of your value back. Which then if you think like if that's the case, then if you spend 1 million rubles on a kit, you're really only spending 200,000 on a kit because you're going to be getting 80% of the time you're going to be getting your shit back because they're going to grab it for you, or you know they're going to dump it for you so you get it back in insurance. Whereas me going labs, there's no insurance, and going reserve, if I'm solo, I get killed by a group. They're stripping me naked and taking everything.
Or you get killed by a guy with a Vepr Hunter and no armor. He's also stripping you because that's what he wanted. He didn't bring any gear in.
Or a glue car, and then my dead body's there, and someone loots glue car, and then me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
I mean, but that's the thing though, man. Like it's a, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's ultimately, especially in the position it's in now, like a squad game. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the solos are definitely in the minority, whereas there were points in Tarkov's existence where I felt like there were more solo players than squad players, and I feel like that got completely destroyed. Like I feel like if there are 12 people that spawned in a raid, I would say an average of 10 of them are in teams. Like personally, like I don't run into solos hardly ever. It's crazy. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of factors. Yeah, like you were saying, the map plays a huge thing because labs, there's not even insurance. If you're a labs main and you play with a duo, you know what I mean? You're losing 100% of your kit. You know what I mean? Every time that you die.
Every time now that I think about it, every time I like end a stream with gear and then start the stream with a labs run, I have 1 million ruble kit insured from a previous run that I'm not getting anything back. I had to pay 350,000 rubles for
a key.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yep. But it's almost becoming like you could, if you wanted to role play it up, you could almost do it like those JLK DayZ things where like they would spend all day gearing up. You know what I mean? They would go, they would get supplies, they would get this, they would get that. They would try to find an AK. They have a bunch of AKs, but they don't have ammo. Let's go to the airfield. Let's get that. Let's get that. And then they go, now let's go PvP and raid a base. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can do customs and shoreline and stash runs and do this and make a ton of money. And they'd be like, yo, let's go Thunderdome it on labs.
I'll just get called a scrub, rat, loser, whatever.
By people with
I'll do anyway. You know, it's not like it's going to change anything.
By people with far less survival rate than you and far less experience in the game.
What do you mean, dude? They're all gods. The dude in chat was just telling me he needs to give me a clinic because he's got 175 million rubles and he runs solo shoreline. I could have a bajillion rubles if I avoided all the fights I possibly could and I played at 10 a.m. The West Coast servers. I wouldn't run into anybody and I would just be printing money and then there'd be no point in playing the game.
Yeah.
So
it's, I don't know. It's yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah. It's like, I get it. Like, I get that I just feel bad for people who, prefer your playstyle. Like solo, prime time playtime, and you like PvP. You want to go, labs, factory, reserve. You know what I mean? It's like, I love me some PvP too. I love stomping on some 4-mans. When we go customs, we go straight to dorms or fortress. Like, we're PvP too, but like, it's playing with a duo or playing with a squad. And I like, looting all the computers in shoreline and just making tons of money on the circuit boards. Like it takes the edge off of it because when you go 6 raids in a row, you've used all the money that your Bitcoin farm produced for you that night. And you know what I mean? When I go 6 raids in a row of dying, I only have 4 cells left in my inventory to put stuff. So I just use, and so it's like, but it's not, it's so definitively not because I'm a better player. And that's what you were saying, where there's like this infinite amount of variables that add into it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Rip. You gonna be playing some Tarky?
Yeah. Dude, I need to tell you about this. The funniest thing happened to me. The most beautiful irony that's ever happened to me today. Okay. So this is like literally like a 3-second story, but I just figured you'd get a kick out of it. Okay, so I committed the most heinous of YouTube sins. Do you know what it is?
Did you clickbait?
No, worse. I spelled something wrong in the thumbnail.
Bro, well, at least it's the thumbnail. At least you can fix it.
Oh,
When you bake in your typo into the fucking rendered. Bro.
Okay, so I spelled something wrong. I put the apostrophe in the wrong place in your. And so.
Was it YOUR apostrophe E?
Yes. I threw,
you idiot. Idiot, dude. Get 100%. Quit.
No, I know.
Washed up hack.
I know. So of course, bro. You know what? This would be crazy, but I bet it would be tremendously better for the YouTube algorithm to spell stuff wrong because the amount of additional comments you get, bro. Woo! And you know what's super? You know how it's like super interesting? I don't know. I get notifications. I get notifications on my phone of some YouTube comments, but it's like not every one because I'll get 500 comments on a video. But throughout the night, it'll just pop.
They pick and choose.
It'll just pop up one, right? Yeah. And I swear to God, dude, it made me so happy. It was the dude commented, "How do you spell your wrong?" But he typed HIW. He misspelled the word how in his comment. How do you misspell the word your? And I just cannot sat there and looked at it for a second and just.
You can't fucking. You couldn't write it if you tried, dude.
Bro, yes, it was just. And what it was the first comment I saw that let me know that I made the typo. So it wasn't like the 10th or 11th. It was the first one. And I was like, oh, this is great. And the dude had the balls. He edited the comment instead of deleting it. So now it says the right thing, but it says edited, dude. So I just responded and I said the same way you misspell how. That's it. That's how. That's how I did it. The same way you misspelled how.
and as fucking genius and as like karmic as that is. God, you're so fucking rude to your audience, dude. Yeah. You're so mean.
Yeah, you take everything so seriously. Prick. That was a joke. I misspelled that on purpose because you misspelled, dude.
What a condescending asshole you are.
But it was so beautiful that I felt like I needed to share that. It was a true moment that I had.
That makes me happy. That makes me tremendously happy.
Oh, yeah. Man, YouTube comments are just a never-ending well.
I want to fucking tar and feather that guy. Get him out there. Like, we were talking about the witch hunts and the gallows and the burning at the stake. That should the modern day. Don't do it, chat. Don't do that. Violence is never okay.
Never. Also, timestamps are like clutch in replying to comments too. Like, you just hit them with the timestamp. Like, literally, somebody in the video was like, he was like, that's a stupid idea. Nobody would use the vector and everybody would just go back to using the HK and the M4. So I just responded with a timestamp, and when you click on it in the video, it's literally like, I swear to God, I was like, now the problem with my idea is that if they did implement these changes, nobody would use these guns and we would go back to the HK and the M4. And here's how I think. And I just like, boop, like it's just that way.
And then
you just remove the emotion from it. I'm like, they can't say I was mad at them. They can't. I just hit him with the little timestamp, bro. You know what I mean?
And you go back someday and you're like, I wonder if he ever. Oh, and then you realize the comment's gone.
Yeah, yeah. You just deleted it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
you never get the satisfaction.
Nope.
1 out of 100 will be like, you know what, dude? My bad. Fuck, I'm an idiot.
Dude, yeah. Every once in a while.
I just want you to tell me that you're an idiot and you acknowledge it.
Somebody hit me with that. I hit him with the timestamp, and he responded. He said, "Oh, I spoke too soon. Sorry." And I was like, "You're okay, bro." I was like, "Thank you. I love you." Yeah, it was great. But yeah, I'm gonna go play some Tarkov. Are you done? You gonna?
I'm probably gonna do 1 or 2 more raids, and then
yeah.
Yeah, maybe send some folks your way.
I would be really interested in if you do recreate that experiment with these newfangled servers on Factory with the 5-man. You're saying in a couple of days, maybe. Like, I would be super interested if it was like, yep, nope, nothing changed. This is not at all, or if there was any measurable.
Yeah, I think I could manage to play if I'm doing science and not actually playing.
Yeah, not actually attempting to play the game. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool, guys.
I'll let you know.
Guys, thank y'all so much for hanging with us. Feels good to be doing these weekly again. I still had somebody literally today tweet at me and said, "Rip the podcast." And I linked our new YouTube channel, and I said, "No, we got a new channel." And he was like, "Oh, thanks." So
and our Twitters and our fucking Discords and
I know. So I was like, so please help us, get that channel up, subscribe to the podcast channel on YouTube. That is where the video version of this podcast will be in a few days. So we appreciate you guys hanging. Love you guys for being here. And we will see y'all on the next one.
Peace.